is the most attractive face of the church. Every Sunday at Mass, when we say the Creed, we say, I believe in one Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. And yet, so often, we don't see the church as holy. We are a sinful church. The sexual abuse crisis very recently is one demonstration of that. We are a sinful church, but we are always called to holiness. And the church is a more credible, a more believable witness in the world every time each one of you aspires to be holy. The holiness of the church is not dependent on its leaders. The holiness of the church depends on the ordinary, everyday, faithful Christian. Each one of us. That is what the holiness of the church is about. That is what draws people to Christianity, because they see the holiness of each one of you. You are a credible, believable witness to what Jesus is about. And part of what makes holiness the most attractive face of the church is joy. The Christian life is about joy. About the joy that comes with being Jesus and being with each other. St. Teresa of Avila once said, God save us from gloomy saints. The church is about being joyful. And it's not, when we talk about joy, we're not talking about excessive optimism, like everything is going to be great all of the time. Joy is more deep-seated than that. Joy comes from someone who has had the experience of walking in solidarity with people who are suffering. And knowing that in that suffering, that's not the end. Joy comes from hope, the hope of being with Jesus. And so the more we can be joyful and full of good humor, then we can share that gift of the Spirit with other people. So, how do I live out the call to holiness? Like, everything I just said is great, but how do I actually do it? It's the Beatitudes, friends. Pope Francis says, the Beatitudes are like a Christian's identity card. What do you have to do to be a good Christian? Well, we have to live the Beatitudes. And these are the Beatitudes. And I'm just going to go through each of them quickly, just to give a sense of the kinds of questions we ask ourselves, that we can ask ourselves as an examination of conscience. The Beatitudes are a great way of doing that. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. What does it mean to be poor in spirit? We have to ask ourselves, where is the treasure of our hearts? Where is our security in life? Is it wealth? Is it power? Is it prestige? Poverty of spirit is about saying, God, my entire life depends on you and you alone. And when we say that, we are truly free because we have no attachments to anything else. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Meekness is about humility. It's about a willingness to listen to other people. So the questions we have to ask ourselves are, do I unnecessarily provoke conflict? Do I cause division? Do I dominate others in conversation? So meekness is about humility. And that humility involves listening. And listening is the first step to justice. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. The Christian life is about joy. We don't need to be gloomy saints. But that doesn't mean we can't mourn. Mourning is about solidarity with other people who are suffering. It's not about ignoring the problems in the world. We have to see things as they are, realistically. And so when we share in the sufferings of others, we live solidarity. We can mourn with the hope that one day we shall laugh. Blessed are those who hunger and who thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Hunger and thirst, these are intense experiences. And so when we think about hunger and thirst, we're thinking about a desire for justice, a vision of the kingdom of God. When we see all of the suffering and the injustice around us, that should make us desire justice, hope for all people. And we should hunger and thirst for that. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall be shown mercy. Forgiveness, so essential to the Christian life. There's a time and there's a place for fraternal correction, to say, look, you did this wrong. This is a way you can do it better. But we should always begin with mercy. Mercy first, understanding where the other is coming from. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. When we think about people who are pure in heart, the people that come to mind are those who have an innocence about them, who have a radiance to their person, because they are so focused on the good in the world. And so purity of heart is about that. It's about being so focused on God that you can think of nothing else. That which is most good, most real, most true. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Our world needs peace desperately.